Okay, here's me and blue collar fishermen fishing on Lake Norman yesterday, March 28th, and there were beds in every cove pretty much had beds in it. The water's way down, so it's kind of hard to find some of them, but a lot of beds out there. We're sight fishing most of the day. He was catching females from the back of the boat, way bigger than what I was catching off their nest. See here, this little guy I fished for 30 minutes probably, and ended up losing him. A little spot. He had a female with him that was pretty good size, but it was a decent little fish. Kept going back to the cove. You see right there, beside that boat over there, is a good nest. And the key to it is if not letting the fish see you. Once they see you, they're a lot more skittish. If you can keep your boat far enough away where you can still fish for them on their nest, you will probably catch them. They're spawning everywhere. Lake Norman water temperature was anywhere from 65 to 68 degrees. Beds everywhere, all in the back of coves. There's a decent little largemouth right here. Couldn't really tell what he was. Couldn't tell if he's largemouth or spot. A lot of largemouth. We caught as many largemouth as spots, really, and it's hard to do at Lake Norman, but this time of the year, you catch largemouth. Summertime, I can't even find them. They just disappear. But I can catch them right now. Overall, it's a pretty good day. Wasted a lot of time sight fishing on some fish I couldn't get to hit, but should have just kept it moving. But we still caught a bunch off the nest, and he caught some nice females on the Cinco throwing up under docks. He caught two that were close to 3 pounds, a big spot, big male. This guy right here, he was almost 17 inches long. He's just really, really skinny. Barely 2 pounds. Looked malnourished. Here, I just lost the spot right before this, and then ended up catching this guy. I kept saying I kept losing spots, jumping off. It's like every time I hooked a spot, I'd lose it. Can only get in the largemouth.
Largemouth too. It's largemouth.
Little guy got all the fish off the nest were on the shaky head. I threw the jig a few times. They just didn't seem to care. The shaky head really annoyed them.
God, he looks like
This guy had a messed up mouth. He'd probably been caught a few times. Water's super clear, easy. It's low, but really clear. The water's easy to sight fish right now. If you want to go to Lake Norman right now, it's time to go. They're spawning, you can kill them. Especially when it warms up so fast like it did, they're all spawning at the same time. A lot of fish have already spawned, but a lot of fish spawning right now.
You get DNA
The little guy, he looked like a spot in the water.
It looks like there was a nest right there.
Their color, and they got straight black lines, but he's definitely a largemouth.
Take it.
He's been caught a lot of times too. You can tell his mouth's all messed up.
That's the same one we spooked a minute ago. I thought for sure he was a spot.
And here's a little tiny spot. Definitely wasn't spawning. He just blind casting around these piers. We ended up seeing a few nests around this pier and back of this cove. Ended up thinking I had a leaf on here, trying to shake the leaf off. And it turned out to be a little tiny spot. We ended up finding a little shad ball back here, and he ended up catching a bunch on Topwater. He caught 4 or 5 back here just on Topwater. I threw a fluke and did not get a bite. I even tried to switch to a walking bait, tried to copy him, but had fluorocarbon on, so didn't really walk good. But he caught a few back here. It's a creek that's like a foot deep that runs into the lake. They had the shad pushed up here. Here's a little northern water snake I was going to try to grab, but he got into some rocks and I couldn't find him. He was a little fat guy. He's pretty big for a northern water snake. See, there's him with a decent little spot. He ended up catching a decent largemouth back there too. Here's a bass on our nest. I went right by and spooked him and then came back out after he caught a few on the shad ball, and then had him stuck over a tree limb, and then couldn't get my trolling motor over there in time because I had the boat sideways on the pier to keep from drifting back there, and then popped me off. 8-pound little fluoro line. After you catch a couple fish on, you gotta retie.
I hope he shakes it off.
Yep. Snapping me off. We're just looking for beds. Once it got about 6 o'clock, we couldn't really sight fish anymore. We didn't find any beds really. It's hard to see, but the last few coves we went into, the bottom was just too soft for the fish.
Oh yeah.
And this is right before dark. We had a bunch of little ones hitting our walking baits. Couldn't really get them in, but ended up hooking this little guy. I thought he was a lot bigger than he was.
That can't be what I had.
It's pretty much dark here. The GoPro actually keeps the light until it gets dark, and then the GoPro is just useless once it gets dark. Able to get one on the Topwater. He was able to get at least 5 off the Topwater probably.
That's my excuse at least. Got some energy. Either he was hooked sideways.
You can look and find the shad right now, and you'll find the fish, or you can just go sight fishing and try to find fish off their bed. I love catching fish off their beds, so that's what I chose to do. But they're biting right now at Lake Norman if you want to go. Pretty little spot. And then here's me the day before pond fishing. It was a struggle. Super windy, hard to fish. I'm assuming they're spawning there too, and that's why I can't catch them. You can't see 2 inches in the water, so it's kind of hard to sight fish. And I was blind casting. There's just hydrilla everywhere, and it's hard to fish in there. Anything on the bottom doesn't work very well. I threw a lot of topwaters, couldn't get any bites. 4 hours and 3 fish. It was a struggle. This little creature bait. Sort of like a little havoc creature bait, and they're a little fat little female. Doubt it's spawned yet. I think most of the fish there are post-spawn though. I don't know. Spawn bite was tough. Definitely did better at the lake.
Right at the boat.
There's a little guy on the chatterbait. The little grass pig on it. I like to just throw a swim bait on my chatterbaits. No skirt. I don't know, I keep the skirts and throw a swim bait trailer on it a lot of times, but sometimes I just like to go no skirt at all. And here's a little guy with a tiny little square bill. It was just crankbaits just weren't happening there. Too much grass growing in that pond and algae everywhere. It was a struggle to catch anything. Little largemouth. Well, either way, you want to go pond fishing, lake fishing, everything's biting right now in North Carolina. You better get out there and go catch you some fish while they're biting.